Yo, what is up, everybody? Second round PGA playoffs. Your boy Gleck back in the house. Can't let this show stop on the train tracks. We're going to keep it rolling. We are the Golden Hour best bets, golf bets. Soon we're going to transition to some football, but we can't let golf go when we had such a good year here at the Heat Ratio, pumping out picks. Last week they didn't hit for me. You know what's crazy? I took Tony Finau in my fantasy golf league, but I didn't roll him out to you guys. Doesn't count as a dub. I get it. And Tony, we all know he ain't going to win on a Sunday. But when this tournament got pushed on Monday, it was all day. Tony getting that big W first time in, 1,500 days. It came out 5 years. Good for Tony. I felt great seeing him out there. Rom hanging around to watch him win it. He's a big guy on the tour, and people were pumped seeing him win. I was too. Obviously, it's hard to predict Tony winning every week, and we didn't get those dollars in our pockets. But hey, we're going to try one more time this week. A tournament that kind of shapes what we've been looking at, over this whole year of betting golf here on the Heat Ratio. That's a tournament of 69. A tournament of less than 70 players, no missed cuts. We hit this when we played earlier at one of the WGC events. Also, hit it in the team tournament. So I feel good about a tournament when we're like the field's a little bit narrowed down, but you also have a chance. You have 4 rounds, no cuts, a lot of opportunities. Really, if you're playing DFS, great opportunities to really cash in here. But when you're betting golf and you're betting winners, you're never out of it. Even if you're 8, 9, 10 strokes off come Saturday, you're not cut. You still got a shot. And it showed it with a couple of people recently, but we'll see it again this week. What's interesting this week? Brand new course. I don't think a lot of us know about it, and a lot of pros don't either. Even some locals that played around there didn't really get the chance to play. They didn't have amateur events. They didn't have those like pro-am. They didn't have the stuff where, these kids growing up that made the tour really got opportunities to play at this Caves Valley golf course. I call it Baltimore, Maryland. It's Owen Mills, just right outside. What we do know about it is bent grass, 75-40, long course, par 72, tree lined, your typical big Northeast course. So we know the driving is going to be key, driving accuracy, driving distance. 7,500 yards is going to punch these guys like Kisner and some other guys way back. So we're going to really, kind of try to key in on some of those guys off the tee as well. Well, I'm looking at strokes gained approach too, because, you got to give yourself opportunities on the green. So off the tee, the fairways are wide, so that's a good thing. You're not going to get stuck in that high cut rough, but you got to be accurate. You got to be off the tee long. And I want to see you hitting the greens. As far as putting goes, it's a crapshoot when you come to a new course, but bent grass greens, a lot of those players are familiar with, especially this time of year when they do play up in this area. So I don't think putting is going to be really a strong stat that you got to, and to me, putting's week to week too, right? You look at a guy like Daniel Berger last week, one of the best putters on the tour, was 3rd to last in the field in putting. Of course, I took him. It was one of those aberrations. He was 12th in strokes gained approach, 8th in strokes gained tee to green. Great numbers, ball striking, really bad on the green. Listen, they happen. Can't really predict those. So I'm going to lay off putting this week and really try and focus in some of the other areas where ball striking is a great factor. All right. So some of my guys I love this week. I'm going to start off with DJ. Yeah, DJ, right? Great tournament run, great FedEx Cup playoffs last year. He's been kind of non-existent. But when you think about a big Northeast course, one that, has, very long, tree line, you think Oakmont. You think some of the other places DJ has won recently, and they've been up in this corridor. DJ kind of thrives in this area. And Lee Rary National was kind of an aberration for him. He did miss the cut, but I'm actually treating that as a good thing, because anyone that made the cut really had to sit there and do nothing on Sunday and plug through a round on Monday when only you had about 4, 5, 6 guys that had a chance to win. It showed with Brooks. Brooks really punted the round on Monday. It was negative 3.8 strokes gained tee to green, strokes gained total. So he didn't care. He didn't want to be there. And I feel like a lot of people that did hang around kind of played the same way. So I think it's an advantage for some of them that got out of there by Saturday, got to go, get a little rest, hit some range balls, get down to this new course. And DJ's one of those guys. Really eyeing up DJ. I like him. You're getting him at 2,200, which is, to me, fantastic odds on what was the number one player in the world just most recently. This guy, we know he's won FedEx Cup trophies before. We know how good his game is, and this course really kind of fits the way he likes to play. I've been told, I don't know, some people also say fits like Quail Hollow, where Rory won this year, but that's a drawler's course. This one they've actually said is a fader's course. So knowing that DJ's favorite shot off the tee is a fade, knowing it's a long course, knowing it's a wide course, knowing it takes iron play, DJ really shapes up well. Loving his odds, loving the extra rest he got, loving the extra time he got down at this course, plus 2,200. I'm dialing him in for my first play. Winner's cut. Let's get it. All right. You know, we all know he's the most polarizing figure in all of golf. But we're rolling with him this week, and that's Bryson D Chambeau. Yes, he hasn't played well, right? 3 top 10s in his last 13 starts. But the guy is throwing up crazy numbers still. And when we talk long, when we talk wide, we talk about angles. This guy can really start to really shape his game here. And what I've been impressed about lately, the one area he struggled, usually his iron play. His wedges are terrible. He's just not able to really dial in the distances. But, you know, just last week, he was 20th in strokes gained approach, which was really on the high-end side of where his game is heading. So he's trending in the right direction with his irons. We know his tee game. And if you know anything about Bryson, you know, when the time's to shine, you know, he really does step up his game as he did last year at the U.S. Open. What's big for me with Bryson, and two, is that he's not really sitting in great shape here in the FedEx Cup rankings. I think he's 20th overall. He's on the back end of the top 30, make the Tour Championship next week. And we all know how the Tour Champions is ranked. It's stacked, right? And it's factored by where you're ranked after this week. You know, the leader will get 10 strokes to the field, minus 10 starting the tournament. This is big news. This is a big week. It's not just for those guys in the back half that are below the top 30 cut. It's really for those guys in the 10 to 20 range to make that push to get up there in the top 10, top 5, to really have a chance to compete to win the Tour Championship. Bryson's one of those guys. He's 3rd strokes gained total for the whole season. He's 1st off the tee, as we all know his distance. He's 6th in strokes gained tee to green. And like I said earlier, he's really starting around in shape. He tied 31 at Liberty. His strokes gained approach is getting better. And his putting was a little bit off last week. He putts well in bent grass, liked Bryson a lot, plus 1,800. So now we got DJ, 22, Bryson 18. One of those home run hits I do think will come home, but I'm going to give you a third. A third that really, it's my Finau pick. I took Finau in my fantasy golf league last week, a little bit out of desperation. I'm doing the same this week with my boy Hideki. One of the last few bullets I've left in the chamber. I'm going Hideki at plus 3,500. Hideki took off last week. A little rest and relaxation after a long stretch there of a lot of golf in a row, including the Olympics. But this guy, one thing we know, again, a very long hitter off the tee. And he's got really good metrics for what we like. He's 11th in strokes gained approach on the season. He's 42nd in strokes gained off the tee. But I think this week helps him a little bit, because really what that is he's been in the rough a little bit more than he needs to, as his accuracy is a little lower too, in the 50s. So if he can just, with these wider fairways, stay in, he'll gain those extra strokes gained off the tee. We know his iron's really good iron game. It's his putting where we always worry, and Hideki's been very much better this year in the 2021 season with his putter. So at plus 3,500, I'm all in. Plus he's 16th overall in FedEx Cup playoff rankings. So he's got to make a little bit push here to put his name on that cup and win that ultimate prize. So I like those three: DJ, Bryson, Hideki. I'll throw one more out there. I do really like Daniel Berger. We talked about him last week and his failures in his putting. It was just, hey, it was one of those weeks you just chalk up. You couldn't find it. I'm sure this guy's out there rolling them on the greens this week, getting it right. And Daniel is just a steady top 10 type of guy. We talked about it last week, and we talked about it weeks before. He's constantly plugging away and putting up those big numbers. I'm going to throw a half bet on Daniel Berger, well, plus 3,500. I just like, he's a little under radar. And I think at this point, being a little under radar is good for him. And he's 23rd overall in those FedEx Cup rankings. He can't have a week off here. He's got to make move, got to make a push. One guy I did consider was Brooks. He has an interesting stat there. Like I said, he punted on Monday. But here's a guy that ended up 31st at Liberty, 54th at Southwind the week before that, he hasn't finished outside the top 6 in 3 straight tournaments all year. So he'll have 2 off and then play an awesome one. So he's a guy, if you like him, there's definitely some numbers out there that convince me that he's something to, really sharpen your pencils on before you put that bet in. He's someone that's going to be in contention. I just couldn't fully pull the trigger on Brooks, but I do think he's someone, if you like him, he's a good play. All right, my last 2, I'm going to give you a couple top 10s. Listen, as we get here in the top 70s, it's not worth playing top 40. It's not worth playing top 30, but it's worth playing a top 20 or 10. I'm actually going to go 10 on these guys because of the factor of top 30 make the Tour Championship. And one guy we really love this week is Webb Simpson. He's not the longest off the tee, but he's fantastic with his long clubs. He plays that hybrid from 220, 230 plus. He's very good with his long irons. So even if he is a little bit back off the tee from the longer players, his advantage really is his short game around the greens and his long irons. He's just solid. He's a ball striker, premier. And right now, he's in a little bit of trouble to make the Tour Championship. So he's sitting at 52nd overall in the FedEx Cup rankings. He needs to make a push. He needs to make a move. His game is as quality as anyone. He's someone that should make the Ryder Cup, probably will, but an extra week of playing really well, plus trying to make that top 30 is going to go a long way this week. Webb Simpson, top 10 you can get for plus 300 right now. Really like those numbers. I think Webb makes a good move this week. Give me 3-1 on a guy that I do think is, has the game, has the class, and really has the motivation this week. Plus 300. Perfect for me. All right, last one. Corey Connors. Keep an eye out here. Plus 350, big long hitter. We've seen what he did in the majors this year. This is similar to a major with all the pressure they'll be on. And he's sitting there 20th in the FedEx Cup ranking. So he's someone that can't really afford to have a week off. And he's someone who's really done well with his long game, his approach. He's up there on every metric you can get across the PGA Tour this year. And you can get him at plus 350 inside the top 10. So 2 guys that are a little bit outside that need to make a push or need to maintain their position. Webb Simpson plus 300, Corey Connors plus 350. Really digging those guys and how their game shapes up at Caves Valley. All right, everyone. Good show tonight. Can't wait. Listen, I'm on vacation down here at the beach, loving it. What vacation means is I get to watch golf as soon as it turns on. You'll be seeing some plays on Twitter. You'll be seeing some plays posted throughout the weekend because I'm just ready to bet some golf and get me warmed up, build that bank account up for the football season, which this show will be slowly transitioning to starting next week as we get into the Tour Championship. Only 30 players left, people being staged at minus 10, having advantages. It's really not going to be a good betting week for us. So we're going to jump right into the football next week, and I can't wait. We'll sprinkle in some golf talk for sure, but we'll show you exactly what we have right on the menu as we start next week, talking football the day before the NFL kicks off. But until then, let's enjoy the BMW Championship, the hot, good weather that's ahead of us, and some great golf. Let's cap it off. Let's cap off 3 wins on this show over the past 6 months. Let's get our 4th. Keep us in that positive number and keep heat ratio just burning like it should. Until then, I'm your boy Gleck. I'll be back next week bringing some guests, bringing some fire. Tune in. As always, thanks for checking me out. Later.